and that happens to be both of your guys' teams. Blue Jays, people who left. Pitchers, David Phelps and Ross Stripling. Position players, Gregory Polanco, Raimel Tapia, Jackie Bradley Jr., Dexter Fowler, Lourdes Gurriel, and Teoscar Hernandez. They did trade for Dalton Varsho and relief pitcher Eric Swanson. Re-signings and free agency, Chris Bassett, Chad Green, Brandon Belt, Kevin Kiermaier, and re-signing Anthony Bass. No major head coaching changes as they took the interim tag off of now manager John Snyder and added Don Mattingly as the new bench coach. Jimmy, let's start off with you first. Your team, what's your grade?
There's a sentiment here in Toronto that this has been a bad offseason. And I disagree with that very much. You asked baseball insiders, and they'll tell you it's been a really good offseason for the Blue Jays. But there's a sentiment here in the city that we're in trouble, that our offense is going to be worse without Tio and without Lourdes Gurriel. I don't agree with that at all. We desperately needed left-handed bats. Our lineup had flaws. This is a lineup that was second in the MLB and WRC plus in 2022. This offense is going to be better this year. I think this is actually a B+ offseason, and that may upset people, and people will not agree with it. But Varsho and Brandon Belt will help immensely. Chris Bassett as our third in our starting rotation is an innings eater that can be trusted. I think Gaussman is the real deal. I think he's an ace, and we know what Manoah is, a bulldog on the mound. I think we're in a stronger position than we were in last year. Kevin Kiermaier is a gamer. He's an excellent defender. If our lineup is Springer, whose jersey I'm wearing right now, Bichette, Guerrero, Kirk, Chapman, Varsho, Belt, Espinal, Kiermaier, well, we are going to be a very good baseball team. I mean, the market believes we're going to be a very good baseball team. So, at 91.5 is the win total juice to the over. The Yankees at plus 100 to win the division. Jays at plus 175. I don't know if that's the kind of future bet I'm interested in making, but I believe in this baseball team very much.
I actually believe in them as well, but let's get to Ian before me. What you thinking? What grade you giving?
For me, this is a B. With their off season. I mean, for me, I thought there was some good. I thought there was some not so good. I thought parting with Gabe Moreno was unfortunate. And I get it. Danny Jansen had a great season with the bat last year, and that played a part in it. He's an excellent defensive catcher, calls a good game, has great rapport with the pitchers. Understand that, but it's hard to part ways with him. And Dalton Varsho, I need to see it with this guy. All I hear is a good player that can play different positions. Very good hitter, although I didn't love that average last year. Did strike out a lot. Gave you the pop, gave you the home runs, did produce with runners in scoring position pretty nicely. But I'd like to see the average be a bit higher. The rotation, a lot of people love the Chris Bassett addition, and when the rotation, Alek Manoah, I have no issues with him. He's going to be great. He already is great, in my opinion. Kevin Gaussman, I think Barrios has shown you that he can still be pretty good. And he's just got to iron out that home road split that he had last year. He's got to get better at both home and away. And Bassett, you're right. As Jimmy said, innings eater. That's a positive. And no question about that. I question this ballpark. I question pitching in this division for Chris Bassett. That's the one concern. He pitched in Oakland all those years. Easier lineups. Nice spacious ballpark. Good for pitchers. The Mets last year as well. Same thing. So can he sustain that here in a lineup, in a division with some good lineups? In a more hitter-friendly ballpark, can Chris Bassett still deliver the goods? That's my one little minor concern, but he's a steady pitcher. He's going to help. He's going to certainly help the depth of that rotation, no question about that. They needed to find some improvements in the bullpen, which coughed it up big time in the playoffs against Seattle last year. They've got the sidewinder Simber. Timmy Mays has got to stay healthy. He can be really good. Anthony Bass was pretty solid. And unfortunately, even he had a bad game and they got knocked out by the Mariners. Speaking of the Mariners, they bring in Swanson Dinners. He can help that bullpen. Eric Swanson, Jimmy Garcia, Romano, of course, established himself as a damn good closer. The bullpen's improved. Starting rotations got more depth. I think it was a solid offseason. I have some minor concerns, but I'm still giving the Blue Jays a B.
That's what CBS Sports give them was a B, but I'm going to give them an A. Adding Chris Bassett to a rotation and Green to a back end is a plus to me. And then, like Jimmy said, the lefties, it's not just the lefties to me. They desperately needed lefties, but this is a young team, and they added World Series fucking experience and Kiermaier and Belt, and these guys are going to help out immensely. It's going to show these players how to fucking play day in and day out because they were too much of a roller coaster. They need to be more steady, and they got some guys to show them how to steady the ship. So I'm giving them an A. They did the right things, in my opinion. Let's head on over now.
You have to be Debbie Downer. One thing about Chad Green coming off Tommy John serious injury, and he's not going to be available till halfway through the season. Let me see it first with him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that guy's numbers are something you can't you got a deal on a guy. But I hear you. He hasn't pitched in a while.
We got the discount because of that.
Yep.
But I hear
you paid the discount because of those concerns with the coming back from that surgery. Yep.
I did want to touch on, and I know we got to be tight here, but I did want to touch on Mattingly. I'm very curious to what you guys think of Mattingly as a new bench coach, because John Schneider, all he's done is win, right? Florida State League championship. That was the first one in the 33-year history of the Dunedin Blue Jays. Then he wins the AA championship with New Hampshire Fisher Cats. I mean, now his successor is likely right over there in Don Mattingly. I don't know what to make of it still.
I don't know. Don Mattingly hasn't shown that he could win the big thing. So he's shown that he could coach a team through a season, which this guy hasn't yet. I mean, we've only seen him halfway through a season as an intern. So now we've got to see him with a full season, and he's got a guy next to him that could show him. But if he wins, you can't take it from him. This team loves playing for him,
and they love Schneider.
That away. Yep. Yeah, they love him.
Bichette and Vladdy and all these guys, they were with him down in the minors. You know, they've developed a great relationship, manager and player. I think that's important, and I think what Mattingly will bring. You know, I know the managerial stint in Miami, but they didn't give him a shit thing, anything to work with in Miami. He was set up to fail, in my opinion. There,
well, we gave him stuff in LA, bro. So, hey.
No, I agree. LA was kind of disappointing. Yeah, I agree. His time there was a bit disappointing. Miami, he couldn't do anything there. What he'll do is he'll improve this is one of the best hitters in terms of professional at bats when he played for the Yankees way back in the 80s and 90s. Give you a good at bat. Put the ball in play, not swing for the fences. Blue Jays did that too much last year. Too many first pitch swinging, out of their shoes. And they'd have bad at bats, and the approach could have been a lot better. This is where a Don Mattingly is going to help that. The approach, patience, look for your pitch, have a plan at the plate, depending on which pitcher you're facing. He'll help that.